Vikas Dubey, a notorious Indian gangster who recently killed 8 police officers in Kanpur, was reportedly shot dead in an encounter on Friday morning after his arrest from the Mahakaleshwar temple in Ujjain. The UP police said that the gangster made an attempt to flee when one of the vehicles bringing him back to Kanpur overturned. He had also snatched the pistol of an officer and fired at one police, and in order to retaliate, the police had to fire back, during which Dubey died. Dubey had 62 criminal cases registered against him of murder, robberies, and kidnappings. But as per details obtained, he was not convicted even in cases like murder. It's alleged that he had strong connections with police and politicians, and some of the police officers were also arrested recently for tipping off the gangster. Some are applauding the UP police for the encounter, but many are smelling conspiracy. Important questions are raised as to why was he killed in this manner, and why a big criminal like him wasn't handcuffed when he tried snatching the weapon. The encounter looks fake as these dramatic events seem straight from a movie plot. Is it true that the gangster was backed by many politicians? But who were the police officers and politicians protecting Vikas? Had he been alive, maybe he could have exposed several of those who were part of Vikas Dubey's criminal journey throughout. The Rajiv Gandhi Foundation, a private NGO owned by the Gandhi family, has sparked a new controversy. Amid rising tensions between India and China, the BJP IT head Amit Malviya tweeted on June 25, pointing out donations made by the Chinese government and their embassy to Rajiv Gandhi Foundation. The BJP accused the Gandhis of misusing the Chinese foreign funding to carry out research that is not in favor of India, and it kept this China-Congress relationship in secrecy. The Rajiv Gandhi Foundation, along with two other Gandhi-owned organizations, Indira Gandhi Memorial Trust and Rajiv Gandhi Charitable Trust, will face an investigation on charges of money laundering and misusing foreign funding. The Rajiv Gandhi Foundation is a non-profit NGO established in 1991 which works for social issues like health, women empowerment, education, empowering disabled, etc. The foundation is completely in control of the prominent Congress leaders Sonia Gandhi as the chief, along with her children Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi, former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram, who is already facing money laundering charges, and Jairam Ramesh, the Rajya Sabha MP. Is corruption and money laundering behind the curtains of charity funds? Let's take a look at what opposition leaders have to say. The BJP chief JP Nadda made a statement that the donation of $3 lakh was made to the foundation in 2005 under the Congress government in the name of research on Indo-China relations, but it was later misused by the foundation. This controversy has provoked a probe by the Interministerial Committee comprising the Enforcement Directorate, Ministry of Finance, Income Tax Department and the CBI. As to what part of research is termed as anti-national is not clarified by the BJP minister. This revelation emerged amid tensions between India and China and is raising questions on political motives of BJP, to which its minister Muralidhar Rao said there is no political motive behind this move, and if there was, the government wouldn't have waited for 6 years. Congress spokesperson Randeep Surjewala countered and called this a blind witch hunt, and alleged BJP of using the money of PM CARES Fund, the public donation platform for COVID-19 relief, and recounted the 7 crore donation made by the Chinese phone company Huawei in the PM's fund. The Congress stands confident in its statement and it says it has no reason to fear as it stands for truth. Recently, many NGOs and trusts such as Boxer Mary Com's Regional Boxing Foundation, Amnesty International, NASCOM are also facing a probe for misusing foreign funds by FCRA. After a decade of nexus in corruption scandals and money laundering cases, is another scandal by the Gandhis unearthing? The future investigation shall answer that. The United States announced that international students might have to leave the country or risk deportation if their colleges and universities declares classes completely online in the upcoming semester. Students attending schools offering normal in-person classes can stay and study, but they also have certain limitations attached. They cannot take more than one class or 3 credit hours online. The move, which when applied, means Indian students which are currently enrolled in universities or programs that are completely online for the fall semester will have to go back home. They can stay and study in US only if they take alternative solutions such as to enroll in a school that offers in-person instruction or choose appropriate medical leave. Indian students are the second largest group of international students in the US, surpassed only by China. Indian students, which are often not on education or financial loans, contribute about 45 billions, according to a report by US-based Institute of International Education. This large amount of money helps the US government to subsidize the fees of its own American students. The move has been opposed by international students and Democrats. The straight reason is the needlessly cruel nature of the establishment to force students to choose between health and education, which seems awfully undemocratic to many.